All right, yogis. So today we have a specific intention, and it is the spiral line, the transverse, the rotation, often called like twist and rotation in yoga. Remember, we have these rotating style of movements. Here's one, supination, pronation. Here's one, shoulder, rotate or cuff. Our spine rotates, our hips, our ankles have a rotational quality. And if we strengthen these, it can really help us avoid a lot of the injuries we get when we're doing our phasic exercise, our big strengtheners, our yoga flows, our core, our legs. All right, so that's our intention today. I will add a lot of extra stuff in between, but we will take a little bit different approach today. All right. Remember, this is a nice one to have in your tool belt of exercise because yesterday I went to exercise, didn't have too much energy, so I did all my rotation, right? So let's start in a seated position just for a moment, guys. And I will take an extra emphasis on reminding you of rotational awareness, okay? So already from the start, we externally rotate our hips. I'm gonna sit in a classic yoga pose, okay? Just take a moment here, guys. Our initial yoga setup here, creating enhanced self-awareness, connecting to our body and our breath. So focusing attention inward, turning your presence on. I like to take a few deep breaths. I like to do a quick prayer, quote unquote, just remembering what a breath blessing it is to have healthy mind and body. What a privilege it is to practice, right? And within the rotation today, guys, I'm gonna add a little pelvic tilt awareness too, just a few more subtle things. Fill in some of the spaces we haven't been training enough in our regular classes. All right? So please take your time. Nice big inhale, big exhale. As we go through today, always remember our fundamentals, our posture, okay, which includes pelvic tilt, our breathing, and then what we call our bandhas in yoga, the pelvic floor and the belly kind of in and up connected. All right, yogis, I'll start here with dynamic rotation. You can do this on your back, you can do this on your chest, or I'll lean here. Lean back a little bit with your feet wide, and I'm gonna start to knock the knees. Notice the body does follow to start. I don't wanna force rotation, yogis, okay? Notice you're getting a little glute massage in this exercise, but I'm mainly using it to start opening up internal rotation, external rotation of the hip. There is a quality of core spinal rotation as well. So today's a big twist day, guys. Not only in your core, but in the hips, in the shoulders, in the neck, okay? I'm noticing immediately my left hip, something's going on in there. A little kind of restriction, almost a little uncomfort. Okay, I'm starting to pause a little bit. Remember, we are in warm-up, so be a little bit easier. So again, your hips rotate internally, externally, or medially, laterally, respectively there. Those are both terms that we use for rotation. Again, the transverse plane, or the spiral line and the myofascial lines. Let's keep going now. This is not a rotation. This is a posterior chain warm-up. Remember, it is beginner. You could lay on your back and do bridge. Your glutes are rotators, right? So you want to start to activate the glutes. This is a beginner exercise, yogis, similar to reverse plank, a hip thrust, similar to cat-cow, all right? Couple more of these up and down. You know me, I want to strengthen those glutes a lot, our posterior chain. This helps release the hip flexors. Okay, a couple more. Easier is laying on your back and doing bridge. More would be doing a one-legged or straight-legged reverse plank. Right? Please take your time, go slow, all right? Right leg forward, just still kind of warming you up. Left heel in. Again, this is an external rotation, but a little bit different quality. A little bit more on the adduction, where the butterfly style. Just gonna sit up tall and gently go forward. So this could be a stretch, yogis, or for me, I'm feeling really tight today. I played some basketball yesterday. I had a big long work day as well. I also did an easy workout, right? So very active day. My body's sticky, tight. I'm moving a little extra. So instead of holding that stretch, which I might do some days, I'm just kind of going up and down, okay? All right, I'm just gonna switch sides. Right heel in, left heel out. Now, this isn't a neutral rotation. This is in the external, all right? I sit up tall. It's right down the middle. I'm going forward. This is lengthening our back line, yogis, after we shorten it in the hip thrust, right? Similar to what we do in Vinyasa Chaturanga. We come from a forward bend, down dog, we shift to a forward strengthener plank. We back bend, we lengthen the front after we tighten the front. Okay, I'd like to keep you going, please. Go slowly, throw both legs forward. Look at this little rotation. That's another style, just to bring more awareness. I want you guys to understand rotation in the body and how much we do it. It's really one of our beauties of yoga. A lot of emphasis on body, transverse, and spiral line, okay? Easy twist to start, guys. Right shin, front of left. First position. Sit up nice and tall, twist to the right. This is a spinal rotation now. Okay, lift the chest, pull the belly and squeeze the pelvic floor, gaze over the right shoulder. Neck rotation. What's our fundamentals? Our posture, our breathing, our pelvic floor, and our belly. Remember, our pelvic floor and abdomen, that's used in weightlifting as well, right? Just like yoga. Yogis, stay twisting to the right, just look over the left shoulder. Use your breathing. Okay. Slowly, maybe switch sides of your crossing, release, and neutralize. I'm just moving through it, guys. You make it your own. I'm turning to the left, right hand outside left knee, spinal rotation to the left. The neck is at first rotating the same direction, looking over the left shoulder. Stay with it, look over the right shoulder. I'm still turning left at the core, but I'm looking over the right shoulder. So I'm opposite rotating the neck against the lower spine. Remember that rotators are often called stabilizer muscles. They have a different function than the big phasic weight-bearing shear strength. Let's keep going, guys. Let's slowly release. Let's lay on our back here. Take a moment with knees into the chest. I am going to go right into a hip style strengthener, okay? You will need a block for this. Let's get into it. Rolling onto your right. Yogis, this is phenomenal. If you enhance this internal rotation strength of your hip, really help you avoid back pain. My knees are in front of me about a 90-degree angle. My block is right above my knees between my thighs. I should pad my head, right? I'm in good posture. I am in chair pose. My feet are about hips, with distance to start. I drop my top foot down an inch. I lift the foot up. Yogis, I'm squeezing the block. I want you to focus on a few subtle things. I know this isn't as exciting as doing squats and push-ups, but it pays, yogis. It makes your squats and push-ups stronger, safer, and helps you avoid injury. We got to be smart how we exercise, not just exercise more, but keep increasing our awareness. So yogis, what I'm doing here is internally rotating my hip. It'd be better if I had a little ankle weight on, get a little resistance in the rotation. That's what I did yesterday. My knees are in front of my hips. 90-degree angle at the hip and the knee. My chest is lifted. My spine is not curved around it. I'm padding my neck. I'm lifting the left foot up, internally rotated. This is a subtle one, right? It's not that resisted, really good for beginners, okay? Can we switch sides, please? Boom. Roll right onto your right or your left. I tend to break some of this stuff out in easy Sunday classes, but I know some of you has always skipped that one, so I want to bring this out. This is really important. What's the muscle that's always getting irritated in people's bodies? Piriformis, that's a rotator. What's the muscle always getting irritated as well at causing back pain? And medius, internal rotator. Strength, activating those rotations can also really help signal muscles to start firing better in their morphasic actions in extension, flexion, and abduction. Okay, so just in case you're having trouble seeing yogis, right? I am basically like this, keeping the block squeezed, right? Trying to purely focus on that internal rotation quality. You might not be very good at it. It might be weird. It might be sticky. You might not be able to move very far. That's fine. It's not a contest to see how far I can go. It's to activate the muscle in a certain part of its quality, right? Now, I'm going to keep you moving, guys. I'm going to switch into the core. We do this one very regularly, and there's a reason for that. Resisted core rotation. If we stabilize our spinal rotators, the splenion, the small muscles along the spine, it makes our spinal joints more stable. Okay? So I'm going to need you here, guys. You know this one, regulars. It's one of my favorites. I'm going to bring the knees over the hips. Same body form, actually. Instead of rotating my hips, which we could do here, I'm going to inhale the knees to the side. Now we're in the core. Okay? I'm coming back to center. I'm going over to the left. Notice my knees go straight to the side. I'm pulling my belly in, squeezing my pelvic floor, and breathing. I like to inhale to the side. Hold. Pull the belly in. Exhale, okay? So let's keep going. So we went from an internal hip rotation to a dynamic resisted spinal rotation. Let's keep going, please. Remember, you're always welcome to add stuff, change it. I want to educate you on your body. If you need more strengthening style, you don't need to do it with me. I'm recording the class. You'll have it up on YouTube to revisit on a day where you want some exercise, but you don't have a ton of energy to do your planks, your squats, and your hinges and your lunges. All right? Let's keep going, yogis. Slowly, take a quick breather. Meet me with your knees into the chest. All right, so we've done some internal rotation, spinal rotation. From your back, I want to hit the external rotation quality. This one's a little more subtle, okay? I'm going to roll on to my right. My right leg goes in front of me. This is like one-legged Tadasana. All right, now, what's nice is you get a nice stretch in the top leg. Top leg is just reaching down. I'm in Tadasana. Good posture with my right knee into my chest. We do it constantly. Now, the trick here, guys, is I don't want to lift the thigh up. I want to keep the outer right thigh down. And I want to lift the inner right foot up and toward my upper body more. It is a pigeon. I'm going to lower down, lift. Lower down, lift. Now, this takes subtle intention and focus, yogis. You got to focus on your body. So I'm going like this, right? That's the action. I'm not going all the way down. Up, pause. Now, what we want to do is we want to compensate. We want to lift here, right? Yogis, we're trying to rotate the hip externally. So you are here, but laying on the right side. The bottom leg is this one. And you're going like this. It's subtle, okay? But it's so good. Usually I would do this laying on a table with my foot hanging off the table, but this is still adequate and productive, okay? You might not get too big of a burn. Don't worry, I got resisted lateral rotations coming. So you're going to switch sides, please. We're only going to do one round, reminding you of this fantastic style of exercise. You roll onto your left, which means the left leg is our target. That's the bottom leg. I am in good posture. I'm not curling. My right leg's not here. I'm not in fetal position. My chest is lifted. My head can be padded and supported. Boom. Now, if I was working with you privately, right, I would do resisted. So I would push down on your foot. And then I resist your ability to go like this slightly, right? I keep your knee pinned down slightly. I use my other hand to resist you. That's what an ankle weight would do. I'd also probably do some PNF, right, to help it release, where I push against it and then stretch in the antagonist. So take your time. A couple more, please. See how I'm pulsing? I'm kind of really working it, but I'm keeping this discipline, this thigh down, and making the action come from the hip rotation. Okay, remember, piriformis external rotator, guys. So we want to strengthen those little muscles that often get irritated and don't have enough focus. I got one more for you here. Now, I want you to know we're doing a lot around your lower back. Remember, hips are your lower back, basically. Quite often, hips cause the lower back pain. People got lower back, we're always looking above and below and in front here to see what's causing it. Hips are one of the main suspects in back pain, right? I got two more things for you. We'll do one round just to keep you going here now. Same with external rotation, guys. External rotation may be a little bit easier to train, right? So this is the butterfly bridge. Remember how we started in Sukhasana and then I did the half butterfly? Two different styles of external rotation. We do the same thing here. We just did the pigeon, the figure four. Now we're doing this one. We actually did this one last week. It's always good to get a reminder. Nice long spine with my angled knees, externally rotated butterfly legs. I'm doing my bridge. So what's really nice, guys, is you're getting abduction, you're getting external rotation, you're getting the hip extension and the posterior tilt. Try to pull your belly and bring your tailbone up. My focus really isn't posterior tilt awareness today, but that has to be aware here. You have to have the active tilt, pelvic stability tilt in all exercise, yogis. It's very important, okay? So listen, guys, you're doing one round only to remember this is a rotated style of hip thrust. It's beautiful. Do it regularly. Put a band around your thighs to create the same style of resistance. I got one more here for you. Last thing here on the back, guys, all right? I'm rolling onto my left side. You can do either side. Just notice my cues will be on my left side. I want you to be aware of rotation and abduction and flexions, okay? So I'm gonna pad the head. My bottom knee could bend for a little stability. My bottom arm could stabilize. So yogis, what I'm gonna do here, this is tricky, all right? It's the same pattern that you just did. I'm gonna roll toward my chest a little bit, right? Notice I'm supporting myself. Look what I do. I bring the leg, the top leg behind me. I turn the toes up, external rotation. Now I'm gonna hold the external rotation. I don't wanna arch my back. I want a lot of core awareness. I'm gonna lift the right leg up and back. And then hover it low. Up and back. Turn the toes up. Tuck the tailbone between the thighs. Okay? I'm going up and back, yogis. Up and back with the toes up and back. Glute max. You know, the glute max is like your strongest muscle. Imagine you have a work crew and your strongest worker is not working, right? All those little workers are like, oh boy, we got to do our best workers here. All the small workers around them, you know, they're not happy. They're working too hard because the big worker's not doing his job. Okay, can we switch sides? Listen, you're on your right side. Let me show you the back angle here. I roll in my chest. My left leg, the toes turn up. The leg goes up and back. Up and back. Up and back. It's a weird one. It's a subtle one. So again, if I was standing to show you a different angle, I'm going up and back. Think about like Warrior 3 and Half Moon put together in the middle, right there. Boom, boom. I want the toes turn up. I want the belly in. I want the tucked tailbone, which will all kind of, the more muscles we're activating kind of restricts hyper movement. It's fine, yogis. Yoga people are obsessed with hyper ranges of motion. Okay, that's gymnastics. It's more risky. It's unnecessary. That will develop, but let's do it incrementally with strategy and intelligence. Too much range is not good. It is where You know, if you can't stabilize in the end ranges, hyper ranges, that's where these injuries are occurring in the structure, in the muscles. All right. So listen, we got to do the other side of that coin. I got to get you to the second part of class. All right. Roll back onto your first side. I'm not going to spend too much time, but let me show you the other side of the coin. Right. The internal rotation and the flexion. So yogis, what we do is lean on our back a little. I'm on my left side. So remember how I rolled to the chest to create the ability to reach back easier with resistance. If I didn't roll to my chest, the resistance isn't back. The roll into the chest creates the resistance in the back line. So what do I got to do? I roll to my back slightly. So I'm not on my side, I'm not on my back, I'm in between. I bring my right foot in front of me, I point the toe down, and then I lift the leg up. So again, you got to pad the head. So I am kind of like, it's another weird one, guys, right? It's biomechanics. So I'm turning my chest up a little. My right leg's more in front of me, the toes are down, the opposite, right? I'm lifting it up in front of me. Got it? It's a weird one, don't worry. We're learning. Learning is with the effort is key, guys. We're not only trying to teach ourselves to work out more, we're trying to exercise smarter. You know the deal. I want your knowledge increasing, your self-knowledge. Let's switch sides. You're rolling to your right. Top leg is the focus now. I lean on the back a tiny bit. I bring the left leg in front of me. I'm internally rotating. I'm flexing. I'm still abducting, but in more of the front line. This is more like hip flexor, right? Remember your TFL, that's a needle rotator, right? And it's a flexor. Your glute medius, it's also an abductor too, right? So we have ones on the front and back that bring the leg out. Remember, your legs in front of you, toes turned down, chest turning up. This is more like revolve moon, just to relate it to yoga. Try to feel it, guys. That's the goal, mind to muscle. Slow down the mind, feel more. That self-aware mind connecting to the body, enhancing neurological relationship with the mind to muscle. Neural growth through demanding the nervous system feel more. Literally practice feeling the body. All right, I gotta keep you going here, guys, because we could spend all day on this topic. I'm already feeling my hips. I did hips yesterday, right? When you're done, I want you to meet me on the back and give you a quick neutralizing, a happy baby. If you want a quick brace to counter the hips, that might feel nice. If you want a quick plow, a big stretch, 30 seconds. What we're gonna do is kind of take a quick break, rocking forward and back, soothing, and I wanna meet you up and switch gears a little bit. All right, I'll meet you up in tabletop. Watch what we're gonna do. This is different, guys. I'm going into a little bit more of the pelvic tilt and the core rotation again, the core. Now the core rotation can be pull from the back line, pull from the front line, depending on the recruitment and the resistance. Watch what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna take the one block here. I'm gonna put the left knee on the block. I'm gonna hover the right knee. I'm gonna show you from the second side. But I want you to see how my left knee is on the block. You can start with your toes tucked and the right knee is hovering about the same height. I'm gonna hover the right foot. I'm gonna drop my right knee down. I'm gonna pull the right knee back. My hands stay grounded. My belly stays in, my chest stays long. So I'm gonna show you from the other side. Think about your right foot pushing the gas pedal 1,000 times a day in the brake, and the left foot just sits there externally rotated. Let's look for the imbalances in life, right? So what we're doing here, guys, I'm starting with your gas pedal foot. I'm here, left knee on the block, so my right knee's not on the block, right? I'm dropping the right hip down and pulling the belly in. I'm pulling the right knee up, but with my back transverse plane. I'm twisting the core to pull the hip back. My right foot is now hovering. Right knee up, right hip down, right hip up. Feel the core. Come on. You can turn this into really tough core work if you feel, if you activate. Don't strain the neck. All right? It's a subtle one, guys. When we do new things, the body sometimes has trouble activating the neurological relationship, and those recruitment patterns aren't really developed because you're always going like this in the gas pedal. So you're not used to pulling it back. You're developing the opposite lines, right? So take your time, switch sides. So you might notice you're better at this side because you're always good at pushing down with the right hip forward, right? Tabletop, toes tucked, right knee on block, left foot, left knee hover, left hip down. That's like the stretch for your gas pedal. Pull it back from the core, from the back. Inhale, hip down, knee down. Exhale, left hip, left knee straight up. I am not doing this one. I'm not doing fire hydrant abduction. That is also rotational quality though, right? So that's not like wrong in rotation, it's just not our focus. So again, yogis, this one's subtle. Let me give you the front view just in case. We're on the right knee, we're here. So you can see this view. Trying to stay symmetrical. I drop the left knee straight down. I lift the left knee straight up with the posterior transverse core. This is mid-back here, guys. Really important. A lot of times you're doing like your bicycles, and that's always like lengthening. We're bending over in the twists, right? Punching forward, rounding. So we're using our lower body to extend and rotate. I want to keep you going, guys. I want to keep you going here. You take a quick breather there, you shake it out. So I want to hit those arms. But before we do it, let's just take a quick arm rotation. I've been focusing on the hips because they're the weight bearers, okay? Watch the arms here, guys. This is active. There's stretch quality. Right palm up to the back, left palm down to the back. So this is a nice release here before we hit a nice arm strengthener. My right palm is going to switch down, back, left palm up, back, okay? You feel the active rotation. Switch, right palm up to the back, left palm down to the back. Switch, switch. One of my favorite, very close to neuroflossing, basically can be to an extent. But again, the spiral line of your arms, this is how the arms are working all day, right? Not linear. Okay, the spiral line, the shoulder rotation through the wrist, forearm, and hand quality of rotation, often called supination, pronation. Let's go now, back to the core. We're going to hit the core with the hip rotation, dynamic, bilateral, both legs, both rotations. You know it. I do it in core class regularly. Forearms down. Toes tucked, plank. So we haven't been on those arms. Let's do it. Feet hips width distance. Heels to the right, inner edge of left foot, outer edge of right foot. So this one's tricky, right? Because you're like, which way am I rotating? Well, your left foot is an external rotation, your left hip. Your right foot's an internal rotation. Your left foot is abducting, your right leg is abducting. That's so cool. Back to center, over to the left. Back to center, over to the right. Couple more times, you could do dynamic, you could hold. It's good to hold, it's good to move. What do you need? Let's do a little bit more work right now, because it's been a little bit easier style of a class as far as big strength. So this is a rotational plank. So what's another nice modifier? I love this one too. It's more stretchy, but it's really good for like opening up rotation. So you just do like a half plank, and then I would just go slow, yogis, right? So look at me, I'm windshield wiping. Can you see both feet, right? A lot of times I have you lay on the ground, and this would be very stretchy, okay? If I come up into the plank, notice my hips are not on top of my knees, guys, okay? I'm on my knees here, and I'm rotating my hips, which also is creating some spinal rotation. That's how your body's working, okay, all day. Now we're in like more of a pure strength mode. You're still gonna get stretched. What do I mean? That's how your body's working. Look, my left foot turns out when I'm in the kitchen. My core turns with it, and my right foot turns this way. Right? You go like this, and that's exactly how your body works. It's a phenomenal exercise. Okay? Let's lay on the chest, please. Stretch your shoulder rotation and your anterior spiral line, right? Right arm reaches out. I'm going to do it like this today. Be easy. Your right arm is reaching out here. You're pushed gently open to the left. Yogis, just be easy. I did shoulder rotation resistance yesterday. I could feel that a lot, okay? Your rotators are more sensitive. They're stabilized, the little muscles. They're the little deep muscles stabilizing your shoulder called the rotator cuff. So this is stretching your internal rotators of your shoulder because your shoulder is in an external rotation pattern. Makes sense, right? If we bring the shoulder actively into an external rotation, it's lengthening our internal rotators. Back to center, left arm out. 90-degree angle. I'm just kind of trying to really give you a heavy dose today of explaining where rotational qualities are throughout our practice. Just like I've done glute day in the past, we've done lunge day, we've done squat day, where we sometimes take a class and break down a certain part of our exercise and physical awareness, all right? And I know yogis be saying yoga, they be hating on physical exercise sometimes. Who's to say physical is not very spiritual? I think it is. I have a very, very deep physical, spiritual relationship with my mind and body. Very spiritual, very sacred. Okay, listen. Internal rotation stretch. Right arm reaches out, first side. Now you can either turn your palm up. That's one way we do this. Another way is I bend the elbow. I lift the chest, I turn open to the left. So it's the same stretch, yogis. I'm showing you standing. This will now stretch my external rotators. Whether I turn the palm down, straight arm, or I bend the elbow with the palm up, palm up, palm up. Okay. My posture is just not good there. So with the palm up, I'm stretching here. Either way, the arm bent or not. Second side, please. Now, the external rotators on a lot of us are actually quite weak because they're stuck long. We're always here, yogis. You have a lot of these phasic muscles that are internally rotating and protracting the arms forward all day. We don't train the external rotation enough. So what do you think's coming? We're going to do a few of those, okay? Stay focused, yogis, because we're going to stand you up in just a few minutes. You're going to get some phasic leg today, all right? Now, I'm going to keep you going. Hopefully you're doing the second side. With the palm face up, that's an internal rotation. If I bend the elbow, another quality of internal rotation. You've done it like this before, right? We stretch here, we do a lot of things. The face pull, okay? Listen, lay on your chest. We're not done yet. External rotation, face pull. Okay? Lay on the chest, arms to the T, cactus field, goal. Let's strengthen our lower back. The back is not in rotation, it's the arm focus. Inhale, legs, arms up. Exhale, try to bring your hands higher than your elbows. That's kind of the rotation. Sometimes I like to point my thumbs up. Give me a thumbs up here. And the thumb reaches back and up. Not only is that phenomenal for the shoulders, upper body postural correction, it's the thoracic and the neck. So I'm lifting, going here, guys. Me laying down creates the resistance. If I were to do it here, there's no resistance. Remember, we have to use gravity as our resistance a lot, and our body weight. So we have to create conditions opposite of our action. Okay, so you're lifting up like this. Let's keep going. Lay down. Let's go back to the hips. Give the shoulders a break. You just did a couple plank. You did the dynamic. We're doing a lot here. Right knee out at a 90-degree angle. Half croc, half frog. Try to bring the right hip down. Watch me here. Back to internal rotation. Remember this one. It's phenomenal. Right leg internally rotates. Right hip hovers. Right foot hovers. Excuse me. Right foot hovers. Right foot lifts. My knee is not moving up and down, forward and back. It's rotating. I'm holding. When I did this yesterday, I did it with a little ankle weight on, a little 5-pounder. I'm already feeling it though. Does everyone see it? Where do we commonly internally rotate in yoga? Back leg of warrior 2. Triangle. That back leg is internally rotating often, all right? Switch sides, left knee out. So again, you're like this on your chest, and you're going like that. Second side, almost down here on the chest, guys. Get that last 20 minutes standing today. If you train your rotators, you will avoid a lot of injuries. When you're doing big phasic squats, when you're trying to strengthen and signal your bone, your osteoblast, there's a lot of stress. Exercise is applying stress, basically, yogis. That's the muscle response and message, right? It's the adaptation to the demand. So you're training the bench press, the big upper body, the shoulder press, the pull-up. Those little rotators aren't strong, and they're not. That's what gets hurt, guys. Let's keep going. Let's sit up to tabletop. Take a quick cat-cow. Let's do a quick one here. Last thing, guys, okay? I could spend all day here. I got to kind of pick and choose, right? But I love this one here. I'm going to lift the right leg up. I'm going to turn the right hip out. So I'm doing the dynamic complex. So this is fire hydrant now. Right? And watch what I do. I lift the left knee up. I bring the foot a little lower. I turn the knee down. I bring the foot higher. So I'm rotating out here. The knee is kind of out to the side, right? And I'm turning the knee down, turning the hip up. You could do it here too, right? Foot goes out a little bit. Knee turns out. Knee turns in. Knee turns out. Sometimes I have you circle the hip in dynamic forward. So I had the leg out first. I wasn't clear there. See the rotation. Okay, switch sides, please. Sorry, I started your back, actually. You can do them together too, right? But they can be done separate. The rotational quality, again, is lacking resistance. That's the problem with bodyweight training, yogis. It's tricky. It's better to have some resistance and rotation, like a little ankle weight, right? Like body weight is great, but when we lever the ankle above the knee, it's not that much, right? It's really not going to be fantastic for strength. If you add a little weight on the end of the lever, your ankle, your arm, right? That's how we do it. That's how we build strength. Weight. That's the proven method. Build strength quickly. I want to keep you going here, guys. Let's slowly come through down dog. Wow, first down dog. Pedal it out, guys. Let's get up to standing, please. Make your way up to standing, guys. And what I want you to do here is take your blocks in your hands. Let's strengthen our shoulders. So we're going to go through a couple light strengtheners. And it's nice because you'll get a little grip strength here. If you had 5-pound weights, 2-pound weights, maybe you grab those instead. Okay? First one is kind of a rotational quality, right? Not much, but just to set you up here. My elbows are gonna hug in, my knees are gonna bend. My elbows and my hands go out and up together. It's almost like I'm lifting my pinky up in the end. See how the blocks angle down? Just giving you something different, okay? Meet me here. This is the setup. Now watch what I do. Inhale. Blocks below elbows. Blocks behind elbows. Slow, blocks low. Don't tense here. Look at my traps. Traps aren't rotators. They do rotator scapula. That's a whole different story. We're not focusing on that today. Can't do too much. Look at this one. Yogis, maybe do one hand at a time. Pop quiz. Which rotational quality are we strengthening? External. Good job. It's tricky because you have to go into internal to strengthen external, right? That's how all ranges of motion work, right? You start an extension to strengthen your hip flexion, you got to go from extension, right? Second side if you haven't. Now again, you have a 2-pound weight here, or you compound it like this, the face pull. How would we do it with the band? Look at me here, external rotation, elbow in. See, we can't do this with a block because the resistance is up and down. It's not across from the rotation. This is external rotation. This is external rotation, right? So I'm using a band to show you. If you don't have one or two of these in the house, get them, please. All right, phenomenal. My favorite workout tool, one of them. Let's go, guys. Shake your arms out. This is circumduction. People think it's rotation. My arms are really not rotating that much right now at all, right? Let's keep going. Let's get the phasic strength going. Turn your toes out. This is external rotation. A couple of these. Come on now. Now, I'm not dynamically rotating, but my hips are in the external rotation. What do we always tell you to not do here, guys? It's the valgus knee. Amateurs always bring their knees down and in here, right? I'm trying to keep those knees out. Couple pulses here. I want to get those legs strong right now, okay? I'm not working it too hard today. It's a little bit more of an informative practice. But we are strengthening subtle things. You might feel it tomorrow, okay? Because we're doing different. Now listen, meet me here. Let's practice rotation. Watch me. You've done this. Right hip down and in. Lunge. Squeeze your adductors. Turn to the left. Lunge. External rotate. Left leg, internally rotate. We've done this before. External, internal, external, internal, external, internal. Last few, guys. Now, it's not resisted. In the rotation. Rotation is tricky, even if you know your stuff. Trying to resist those rotators is not easy, guys, okay? Stand up, please. Shake it out. Go like this, spinal rotation. You were spinally rotating there too, right? Watch me here. Right knee lifts, right ankle turns up and in. Pigeon. Pigeon is the stretch we do all the time. You're doing it like this today. Do you remember when our leg was going out, toes behind us? This is the opposite, kind of, right? Toes turned out, we're laying on our back, and we're going like this, turning your chest to the ground. You're going like this now. Pause. Pause. Turn the foot at the ankle from the hip, up and in. Okay? Stay focused, yogis. I'm going to bring you right to the end today with this stuff, okay? I could spend 2 hours on rotation. It would be better if we had more time, but we're still learning a lot. It's great, okay? Meet me here, guys. Core rotation. This is fast twitch. Back to hip rotation here, okay? We're gonna do something different in a moment. Squeeze your pelvic floor, please. Inhale, exhale. Just to get the breath going a little bit today, all right? You're doing a fast twitch core rotation. Try to really feel your core and your pelvic floor, mind to muscle, okay? An exercise is only as good as your ability to really focus and feel and to tune in that moment. Practice concentration and attention, okay? Switch sides if you haven't. Inhale the opposite. Driving the elbow back. It's kind of like your Russian twist. People do this one. Okay? That will put a little bit more kind of resistance on your front line there. I like to get you up here sometimes and do it, all right? All right, let's keep going. Warrior two, right toes, left leg bent, right toes straight turned in. Just to give you a quick internal look, the back leg, external look. Take a breath or two. Just kind of finishing in different order, yogis, you know. A lot of times we'll do warrior two in the beginning, in the middle. We're trying in the end of it. So remember, the front leg in warrior two is the external. The back leg is actually internal. I'm tucking the tailbone, I'm pulling the belly in. I just want to get those legs working a little bit. Last few moments on your one round of warrior. This is our lunge, this is our squat, this was also our lunge today, okay? Switch sides, please. A nice solid posture you're familiar with, sturdy, strong, okay? I don't make you hold warrior two enough now. I should make you hold it more. Excuse me. When you're done, I got one more quick little mind puzzle for you. Remember earlier we had tabletop, the gas pedal, pulling the hip back. I want to do a lateral tilt. Every step you're doing a hip hike. This isn't rotation, but it is another subtle thing I really want you to understand and know. I usually train this when I train my rotators. The two we've done for the pelvic, all right? Now, I'm going to put my right foot on the block. Watch what I'm going to do. I'm going to drop my left hip down. You see this big tilting happening. That's our triangle today, guys. I'm going to lift the left hip up with the core. Now, my knees can be a little bent. I don't want to compensate. It's not a big one, guys. The left hip dips. Let me show you. If I were to put my hand on my hip bone, you'll be able to see the movement. Left hip drops, see the fist, left hip above. Left hip down, left hip above. Now, close, you got to feel. You got to really get into the musculature. Feel. Down, up, okay? A lot of days, guys, you're not gonna have, you know, I was talking to my friend, he's my age, and very fit guy, comes to my yoga class all the time, his name is Hunter. And he was like, I do one peak strength, you know, it's like 40. And he was like, I do one max strengthener a month, right? Like, that's perspective, because I do like once or twice on the best weeks, 3 times of peak strength, right? Once a week, twice a week, peak strength. You can't really do the biggest exercise days every day. It's too hard on the body. Switch sides if you haven't. Having these little subtle productive exercises that hit different spaces that help you continue to exercise when you can't do the chest and the arms every day. You can't do the abs, right? My right hip is going down. You can see my waistband probably dropping angled, and then it angles the opposite. You notice my head isn't really moving. My right foot is dipping, lifting, dipping, lifting, okay? Last few. I want you to remember this one, guys. Okay, it's a lateral pelvic tilt. Every step, your hips go like this. I'm exaggerating a little bit. It's called a hip hike. What muscle is doing that? A lot of them. One of them is your deepest lower back, QL. I massage people full time, 4 or 5 days a week. Everyone's QL is quite sensitive, right? Because you use it so much. We don't have strengthening methods. This will do it, yogis. You don't just want tension here. You want that hip action. Let's keep going. Last 2 standing exercises. I'm going to call this Warrior 3 airplane. Watch what I'm going to do. I'm going to lean a little forward into a Warrior 3. You got to hinge. Okay? I can't focus on everything. We do tons of twists here, right? We're doing the posterior. You guys know that one. Think about Warrior 3. Left leg lifts. My chest comes down a little. Watch what I'm going to do to start. Turn my hips open a little bit. Half moon. Turn my hips down, my core to the right. My knees are bent, my active core and hips. Inhale, I turn open to the left. Exhale, I turn the chest down across to the right. It is a revolve moon to an open hip moon. Like I said, you might be feeling this. It looks like this. I am not even close to my deepest Warrior 3. Open, close it. Now, if you want a little more, I'm going to switch legs so I'm not too imbalanced. I could bring my knees close together, add the hip. Watch what I do. I turn open. I bring it across, I turn left. I even internally rotate. See, I really understand my joint actions. So I can add this step. If I understand my rotations, teachers always do an external rotation here. Sometimes I turn the toes down to get the internal. Sometimes I turn the toes up more to get the external. So you're taking these tools into our next classes. Second leg if you haven't, guys, okay? We're getting low on time here. You're welcome to exit whenever you need. So you're here, Warrior 3. I'm turning open a little from the hip girdle, external. I'm turning the hip down, the toes kind of in. I'm turning left. This is like the Warrior 3. Let's call it the airplane. Sometimes we do it with the arms. I don't want that to be a focus right now. Get it going. Something we're lacking is internal rotation. That's a tough one. And body weight training. I like to go up against the wall and just go here. I can turn my chest to create the rotational quality. My favorite is the band, okay? If I had my band, I could resist internal rotation. This is physical therapy for the rotator cuff. Again, external rotation tends to be a little bit more needed in the average person in the upper body, okay? So say I had to give you a tiny bit more if we had time. I might do this one. Remember where I turn my toes in and I turn my toes out. I turn my toes in, I turn my toes out. As a fun one. A little more stretchy. Really nice stretch for up the knee, the turning body all day long, right? You do it on both sides. I might have you do something like this. Remember where I had you start here, I go here. We go out here, we turn the hip down, that's internal. I slowly internally rotate more. Oh, I'm compensating. I turn the hip back. I go back the opposite way. Okay? That's a really nice rotator. If you're doing this on your own, you can always pause this video. Take time to do these. Okay? You don't need to rush. Another really cool one is just here. So I take my block like we did on our chest. Here, here, here. Okay, not that great of a resisted, but if you really focus on the standing leg, you get some resistance there. Okay, spinal twist, we do this, right? We do this one a lot. Spinal rotations, you guys know them, okay? And that's going to be that posterior transverse rotation style. Using your back kind of transverse rotational spiral to open up the chest. I chose the stretch form that you're used to, okay? We are here at the end of class, yogis, all right? So if you'd like, meet me in a quick child pose, take a breath. I'm just gonna give a quick neutralizer because this is much more difficult than it seems, all right, what we did today. Usually, you'd give a little bit of that, right? I'd give you a couple of them, but I want you to know it all.
It's changed my body and life of how it reacts to exercise, how it feels. That torque, the rotational activation. I'm going to go down the Sphinx now, guys. So I did my child pose. I'm down in the Sphinx. Remember, you can do restorative bridge instead, or restorative fish. I'm going to stretch the quad. Reach back, grab the right heel. You got to push the pubic bone down. Second side. I might take a quick cobra. I did one round of those early in the active form. I will meet you in the seated position for a quick hamstring style stretch. This is an external rotation, right? We didn't really do too much hinges. I did the airplane style, more of a learning process today than making sure you get a really good workout. The arms go forward, you take the nice stretch for the lower back, the hips, the hamstrings. Some other really nice tools that we don't have at our is the sliders, yogis. There's one where the sliders, there's two connect. You put a 2-pound weight on the one that's not under your foot, and you turn the toes in, you turn the toes out. It's a resisted rotation, okay? Again, I'm trying to give you your best options here in body weight training, because sometimes you don't have weights, right? And how can we train this body without weights that you might not have? If you want one last quick twist or stretch, we're gonna have to seal it in with a short meditation today. I'll have you out of here in about just a few minutes, okay? So you did a nice forward bend, child pose, back bend, quad, hamstring, straddle, inner thigh. If there's any one last thing you'd like to do it now. You're just kind of closing up your practice and something you're more comfortable with, right? For more information, just look up rotator cuff therapy, strengthening exercises, look up hip rotation and spinal rotation. Uh, always keep studying, right? Um, Using your bands, using weights on your own. There's a lot of just beautiful pictures. If you search on the internet, right, you can find all these. Look at the weight there in the external. Oh, look at this one with the ankle weight I mentioned. Up there's the one we did. Up there's the, you just go through and you study. There's one there. She's using a band on the ankle. If you notice, most of these they have like equipment, right? So we are kind of limited, but we can still do a lot. All right. I'd like you to take a quick meditation, yogis. In meditation, this is where we reinforced what we've learned. Literally, in REM sleep, your new neural synapses reinforce. And the more important something is to you, the more that neural synapse tends to be enforced. You forget what's not important to you, the information you do not need. And the brain brings awareness and intention to what's important, all right? What you're learning new that's important. Closing meditation.